Okay guys, I have just discovered the refrigerator department of it is really not getting cold. And I'm really concerned about that because I have food down there I don't want to lose. But the freezer seems like it was still staying cold, but it get kind of moisty a little bit in there. Frozen, but a little moisty, which is not right. It should be a dry cold. And I was a little concerned because I might have to get another refrigerator, and I really didn't want to do that, or in time consuming to get this one out of here. I didn't want to do that. So I got online, I did a little bit of looking around, and then it brought my memory back up because it's been a while since I've worked on a refrigerator, but I have worked on them for myself. Then also I've got to thinking, if I just do a little prayer, get a little help, then maybe I could pull this off. So that's where I got started at, and here's my story. For several years, water would drip down from up here to back, and I would catch it in this bucket just like I have here. And then the water would freeze, and I'd take it to the sink and run some water over it, defrost it, and get the chunk out of it, and then put this back. Everything was staying cold. Everything was doing good. And then a couple months ago, or a month ago, or a few weeks ago, it got to where it's getting warm in here, down in the bottom part, 60 degrees, which is way too warm. So I added a little fan here. I ran the cord outside underneath the door and thought that would help. Well, it seemed like it did at first, and then it didn't. So then what I had to do, after I discovered that was not helping, I had to remove the rack in here. I had to remove the ice maker from up here to where I can get to the back. And then down here, there was a little bit of ice along the bottom, not a whole lot. But along this corner here, it was iced up. All along this corner was iced up, and iced up all along there. All that was iced up, and I couldn't get that off. So I took a heat gun, like this one here, and I tried to keep my distance where I wouldn't melt any plastic. And I did get a little plastic hot right here. But this is aluminum here. So I could heat that up, and I got that loose, and then when I got that loose, let me pull this screw out. It's just in there by hand. Then I could finally lift this out. And the fan motor, let me actually unplug it for a second. I'm going to show you something. Okay. And this little tray right here was iced over. All the way, a whole sheet of ice. I actually could not even see that hole. Didn't even know that hole was even there. But that's the drain hole. I kept wondering, where's the drain hole for when the defrost timer, which that's what that black thing is. That's a defrost. I mean a defrost element. Defrost element. And I was wondering, well, when it turns on, where does the ice supposed to go? The water. Where does the water go? So I lifted this up. This ice that was right here. This is an aluminum tray. And when I lifted that little ice up and pulled it out of there, then I seen the hole. And it was froze over. This was froze over solid down in there. This was the air holes that goes into the refrigerator right here. There's 3 of them. They were froze over. I mean, you couldn't do what I'm doing right now. They was froze over. And I knew I had to melt it. So I took the heat gun, I took the knife, I carefully chiseled, just carefully, because I don't want to cut through anything. And then I took a fan. This fan and I turned it around, and I just turned it on and left. And about an hour later, this had defrosted down through here, but that one hadn't. That was still solid. So what I did on that, I filled this jar up with water, put it in the microwave for a couple minutes, and got it hot. And then I take this baster, and I would suck up some hot water or warm water, and I would put it down in that hole. And then I would pump it back and forth like I'm flushing it out. And then I would suck up that water. Hang on. Well, I'm getting dizzy going back and forth, huh? I would suck up that water, which would be cold, and put it in this bowl. Then I'd get some more warm water out of here and put some more warm water in there. And I just kept doing that until finally the last little bit of water that I pulled out of here and put in there, it went on down. It went on down. So this was froze over, this was froze over, this was froze over, this was froze over, and the fan was not turning. It was stiff. You could barely move it with your fingers. So it had several problems I could see. When I first looked at it, I thought it might be one of them little cheap fans, motors, and I could just order another one. There's a parts number up here, and let me get the light on it. Dang it. There. I could just order another one and replace it. It just plugs in. But then, you know, after looking at the motor, the way it's designed, it reminded me of, probably none of y'all gonna know this, but the old stereos, the old record players use motors like that. And they're really tough motors. You can't hardly burn one up. It's almost like a brushless motor. It's tough. So what I did is then, is took some WD-40. Hold on. And then I put some paper towels under here to keep it from dripping down on the coils. I didn't want any WD-40 on the coils. And I would just spray that. Let me get my... I would spray this in here. And then I'd even spray it back here in the back. Well, this is difficult. Back here in the back. Here, and then behind, there's two bearings. There's two either bearings or brushes. I mean, not brushes, bushings, brass bushings probably in there. And it was just stuck. So I kept doing that, and then I would rotate it carefully back and forth, and I'd spray it some more. Rotate it back and forth, spray it some more. And I would do this repeatedly, and then eventually I plugged it in. No, it was already plugged in. It was plugged in during this whole time. I know this is crazy. It was plugged in, and I would keep trying to help it go around and spray some more WD-40 in there. Just like that. And that back here in the back too. That's on the back side. And I would keep working with this until finally it started turning. And then I could take the rag out. See the WD-40 dripped on there? Take the rag out, and then that's draining. And I'm pretty sure the defrost timer's working, because like I said earlier, I tested this temperature and it showed 35 in here, which is way ridiculous. Not unless the defrost timer's on, melting the ice. And then I came back 40 minutes later and checked it, and it showed 7 degrees. So it didn't cost me anything but a few squirts of WD-40 and a little bit of my life, a little bit of my time, to straighten this out. I didn't need to replace this. This is going to be fine. I will keep an eye on it. I can feel it when the back is on there, and I will keep an eye on it. And what happens here is the air pulls in from in here where it's cold, and it goes in this hole here, goes in this hole, and it goes down through here and up the sides. Now see, that goes down in there. There it goes. And this funnels down into the bottom section, blowing air. And then it blows the extra air up here at the top. And there's only 2 screws holding it. And that's pretty much it. It's working. It's holding the right temperature, -7 up here, no, 7 degrees up here, and 36 down in the bottom, which 40 is even good. But I had to let it sit overnight and gain its energy up, or its coldness energy or whatever up, in order to get that 36 underneath the bottom. I'm probably not going to put the ice maker back in. But once I tighten these screws back up in a little while, I'm going to put the shelf in there and get the stuff from the other freezer and put it back in here. I think that's the whole story. See, I got it unplugged right now to be able to show you, but I'll plug it back in. And yeah, in the future what I'll do is I'll be able to feel up here and feel if that fan is blowing, and then I'll be able to take this back off, spray some WD-40 in there, loosen it up, and yeah. Now I thought about using this rim oil for guns. It's really thin oil, but I don't know if it would freeze in there or not. But anyhow, it's working, and I will keep an eye on it. And it didn't cost me nothing, like I said, to fix it. I did it myself. You can do yours yourself too. But you can order, if your fan does not work, you can order another fan for it. Or if it's the defrost timer, and I think that's under here. I think the defrost timer is up under here in this part, in the refrigerator part. But you can change it out, and then it won't ice up. But this has been going overnight. Its defrost timer's working. Everything's working. It just needed a little attention. Okay, now it's time to check the old refrigerator and see what it's doing. Showing 42. Yeah, do it again. 36. Okay, let's check the freezer. Seven. I checked it a minute ago and it showed 35, and I'm guessing that the defrost timer was on and it was defrosting. So it's working.
Viewing the video, or giving us a like, or subscribing makes us want to bring on a little more entertainment. Don't you agree?